writer's mind's eye. And so the writer doesn't bother to explain the jargon or spell out the logic or supply the concrete details, even when writing for professional peers. It's a lazy excuse that writers often have, that they don't have to spell things out, because after all, they're just writing for their professional peers. But because of the curse of knowledge, even prose written for professional peers is often surprisingly opaque. I'll give you an example. This is a passage from an article on consciousness written in a journal called Trends in Cognitive Science, which is designed to present short, readable summaries of research for the benefit of cognitive scientists keeping up with one another's work. So here's the passage. The slow and integrative nature of conscious perception is confirmed behaviorally by observations such as the rabbit illusion and its variants, where the way in which a stimulus is ultimately perceived is influenced by post-stimulus events arising several hundreds of milliseconds after the original stimulus. Now, I've been in this business for almost 40 years, and I have no idea what they're talking about. I've never heard of the rabbit illusion, though I know an awful lot of illusions. And I know what the word stimulus means, but I have no idea what they're talking about when they talk about how a stimulus is ultimately perceived. So I went to my bookshelves and I found one that had an entry for something called the cutaneous rabbit illusion, which works as follows. The subject closes his eyes, sticks out his arm. The experimenter taps him 3 times on the wrist, 3 times on the elbow, 3 times on the shoulder, and the person experiences it as a series of taps running up the length of his arm, kind of like a hopping rabbit, hence the rabbit illusion. Well, why didn't they just say that? Not only is it no less scientific to spell out the concrete scenario, but it's actually more scientific, because knowing that that's what the rabbit illusion is, I can then follow the logic of what they are claiming. Namely, what it shows is that what allegedly shows is that consciousness does not track sensory events in real time, but our brain is constantly editing our experience after the fact to make it feel more coherent. Well, knowing what the illusion actually consists of, I can then ponder whether that really follows, whether that's a correct interpretation of the illusion, or whether it might have some alternative explanation, something that I can't do with stimulus this and post-stimulus that.